In this exercise video, I'm going to be going through a leg lift exercise in hands and knees position. So we are going to be working on strengthening the back of our hip and our glute area, as well as strengthening our lower back and working on core stabilization in this one exercise. So we're going to get ourselves onto the ground, onto hands and knees, getting our hands directly underneath our shoulders and shoulder width apart, and our knees directly underneath our hip and hip width apart. First thing we're going to do is make sure we've set ourselves up with a good spinal position. So we need to make sure we are thinking about elongating our spine like somebody's pulling a string from the top of our head and out our tailbone, and lengthening out both directions, and bringing our head up in line with our spine as well, creating a little bit of a chin tuck, double chin position. So my face is square to the floor in front of me, my eyes are looking straight down between my fingertips. From here, we are going to also find a neutral lower back position. And so we don't want to be arching here, but we also don't want to be rounding up. We need to be right in the middle of those two things. And so there should be a very small arch in our lower back, and then our head up in alignment. So we're at a straight line from the top of our head to our tailbone. From here, we're going to be engaging our lower core. So think about hugging your belly up and in and stabilizing with our deep core. Now that we have our core engaged and our spine long, we're going to extend one leg out, and we're going to try to keep our pelvis level to the ground and parallel to the ground. So if you're looking at both of my hip bones, they are square to the floor in front of me, and I'm not twisting or dropping either direction. So setting up, core engaged, lengthen that leg out. My pelvis is still square to the floor and level. Now you should feel your opposite hip working to make sure we keep that level position. And then from here, keeping that leg out straight, we're going to lift it straight up so it's in line with our spine and lower down. We're just going to do this little lift and hold with slow, controlled movements, keeping our spine neutral and flat. So we only want to lift the leg up as high as we can without creating any arching in our lower back. So if I try to lift any higher, you can see my lower back starts arching, and that's what we want to avoid. So we need to only lift as high as we can before that arch happens. The other thing to keep in mind is when that leg is out and lifting, again, we still have to keep the pelvis square to the floor in front of us. So we want to make sure that as we're lifting, we're not lifting like this and twisting our pelvis up, and also not letting our pelvis drop down either. So we've got to stay nice and square and level throughout that motion. Looking from the front view, if we are looking here, extending that leg back and lifting straight up, keeping our pelvis level. Side view, pelvis stays level. I'm not twisting up, I'm not dropping down. This knee is staying directly underneath the hip at all times. We're not going like this, and we're not caving out this way. We need this leg bone to be straight up and down and centered right over our hip throughout the motion. I want you to keep one leg out and do that one leg first before switching sides to do the other leg. So we don't want to alternate with this one. We're just thinking slow, controlled movements with that core stabilization here. And so we want to make sure that as we're doing the lift, keeping everything level, going from touching our toe to the ground and lifting up, nice, slow, and controlled. If the toe wants to be pointed and do it that way, that's okay too. Either way is fine, but we're going to do all the repetitions on one leg and then switch to the other leg.